Artanis, where do you have him?
Okay, so Artanis, again, laser drill's annoying. Structure overcharge is also a bit annoying because of the fact that, like, depending on what army you have, structure overcharge can be a pain. And unfortunately, included in that is zealots, which is to say your ability to kill zerglings. So if you get zerg enemies, inconveniences can happen. As also with the creep and the creep giving vision to the laser drill and don't fight Zerg if you can help it, but just figure out how to not roll Zerg. Get good, okay? Roll better.
If I knew how to do that, I would be so much happier.
Roll better. Don't get Zerg.
All right, where do you have him?
I feel like he's pretty good actually because of P3 existing.
Archon dudes.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see him in A tier, but I'm not sure if anyone else could agree with me on that.
How about you, Tetsu?
I think he's the worst one for this mutation.
Oh no, I definitely think there are worse options than Artanis.
He's the only one I struggled with. Even my meme runs were easier than this one. He's the only one that had trouble because long range, if it's Terran, long range is kind of annoying. That's the least one. But then like the photon overcharge plus laser early game, it's just like you're gonna lose a lot of stuff. You don't have enough shield overcharges to like get to the laser that fast.
Oh yeah, no, you don't. Yeah, I don't think you would dive to the laser with Artanis unless you were doing it with Tempests. In which case you were going around the map mostly.
What did you use here, Tutu?
Tempest.
Oh, you used Tempest.
I tried Dragoons first, and that sucked. That's why I used Tempest.
Yeah.
I used my first solar bombardment on the laser.
Oh, so you beeline the laser.
I got an observer, and then I dropped Archons to clear the first wave and some other areas, and then when 5 minutes hit, I used solar on the laser, and then I expanded.
Nice.
And then I cleared the stuff there, and then I camped it. With Tempest, you have lots of spare minerals, so
cannons.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Six Bender?
With
that strategy. That strategy.
Tempest and cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. I mean, I personally would still stick with Dragoons probably, but I mean, that works too.
I would probably also go with Dragoons. What I was getting at is, do you think Tutu had trouble with Artanis because he used the wrong composition or the wrong strategy?
No.
So what is the reason?
I suck.
More aggressive than you have to be in the early game probably would be my guess.
So Tutu has to be a bit slower?
I think you have to accept that you're going to have to be a bit slower in the early game against these mutators, because these mutators are basically designed to say, if you try to push with a small army in the early game, it will die. If you try to push with a sufficiently large army, none of the mutators will do anything.
So what do you think about that, Tutu?
Yeah, but I still I haven't given him a grade. I put him in C. I don't think he's terrible, but he's the worst of everyone else.
But that's still a bit different from A. So we're gonna have to decide here. So okay. So Stixbender argues that Artanis is better than Abathur and Alarak. Tutu argues the opposite. Let's hear him out. Tutu, what makes you say that Artanis is lower than Abathur and Alarak?
Because you don't have hero units. Alarak, definitely below Alarak. Because Alarak, the mothership plus whatever hero basically has lots of life because you have supplicants behind it, and you deal enough damage to kill all the things that give, like, even if you're not pushing, you kill all the enemies that are attacking you. like from the attack waves, and then the laser drill
stop
won't be a
shooting.
thing. We'll stop
Okay.
shooting you.
So the hero is the difference maker. That allows you to have early and mid game pushing power, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so Sticksbender, why do you say that Artie is better than Abathur and Alarak?
Well, actually, because of laser drill making heroes a pain to use. My thought was like hero is a bad thing because of the laser drill. And also that.
Weren't you the one who mentioned
moving a blob of units is easier?
Weren't you the one who mentioned that you can kind of just get out of range of or get out of vision range to reset the laser drill to back to 30?
You can.
So why is that necessarily a count against heroes?
Because it still is like, even if it gets reset, it's still a decent amount of DPS, which, I mean, I guess Alarak is a hero with a lot of self-healing, so he doesn't care too much about it.
For Abathur?
I would expect Ultimate Evolutions would have a really bad day with it, but
I think Ultimate Evolutions were established to be just an anchor in the early and the mid game. Later on, you'll get Slaughter Hosts.
Fair enough.
If you have more than one Brutalist, you deep tunnel it backwards a little bit, and then it's
that's true. I don't know. I pulled up my solo with Artanis on this mutation. Yeah, I had a really easy time just kind of moving Dragoons around. I used P2.
P2. So Garden Shell. Garden Shell resets the targeting on the laser drill.
Guardian Shell does reset the targeting, but also Warp Haste Dragoons probably made it a lot easier, to be honest, because Dragoons with Stim kill stuff so fast, the laser drill doesn't really have time to ramp up. The Dragoons already killed all the vision sources.
Have you considered using the second prestige to?
I used it.
Oh,
I used it. I tried that before P3. No. I tried P3, then I tried P2, and then I'm like, no, I'm using P3.
Okay, so what composition did you go up against? Does it matter?
I think I went against Tempest? The Phoenixes, with Dragoons, and I don't know.
I think you should be fine against that. Yeah, so okay. Looks like we still haven't figured out whether Artanis is better or worse
I will call this an example of my points for Artanis was because I thought that just moving Dragoons would make him very easy, and then 2-2 is proving me wrong by saying no, it was in fact not easy. And it's like, oh, apparently Artanis is a little less intuitive than I thought again. All right. I guess he can't go an A because he clearly isn't that easy.
All right.
I had a really easy time with him, but apparently that's just me.
That's usually just you, to be honest. So, are you guys both okay with B?
Sure.
Another B?
I don't think he's bad. He's just worse than the other ones.
B for blah. Wait, do you think he's worse than Abathur and Alarak?
Yeah. But not like D, E, F worse.
Just C worse. Wait, you said that Artanis is your lowest, so you don't have anyone D or lower.
No, I don't, because this mutation
is a brutal
easy.
+1.
All right, just wanted to clarify.
Also, I definitely have someone lower. Someone who I even beat it with, and it's like definitely is the lowest of the people I actually attempted this with.
So, do you still think that Artie should be in B to, or are you okay with, or rather, do you still think he's C, or do you think low B is fine?
Low B is fine.
All right, there it is. Without prestige, does any of that change?
Probably would be pretty rough comparatively with P0.
Yeah,
but
I would think so.
Not unplayable. He might go to only a high C with P0.
All right, so there it is. So it does matter, right? If without prestige, he goes down a tier to C.
Yeah. You need either the Warp Haste or the Archons.
The Warp Haste. Paste of War. All right.
Yes. Artanis got a lot from the prestige patch. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, Artanis. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I'm an idiot. Carax also got a lot from the prestige patch. It really opened things up for Carax.
Although Karax, I believe it was during the Prestige patch when they buffed baseline Karax so much that he didn't even need Prestige to be good anymore. Unlike Artanis, where they were just like, no, your baseline doesn't get buffed. Suffer.
Oh well. I think Swan. Swan also got unlocked with P1, right?
Yeah. It took like over a year for people to switch to P1 as the meta Swan Prestige.
It took me like 2 years or so. I didn't really think of P1 until you guys told me to do it.
Yeah, it took a while for people to really figure out how to use P1 Swan to its most effective and realize, oh hey, once you get the hang of it, this is really scary.
This is good.
Everyone at first assumed P2 was going to be the best because of the fact that that's how optimal Swan already was you just use turrets, laser drill,
Really?
and wraiths.
I used to not use any prestige for Swan, to be honest, because I like having the pulse cannon. And
yeah.
Pulse cannon.
Yeah, and
P2 just cuts into your gas, and by the time the Prestige patch came around, nobody was gas starved for the most part because you just made buildings. And buildings only costed minerals.
I didn't even do that for Swan. I went for Hercules with siege tanks and Goliaths, because that's what Mark told me to do.
Yeah, that's what everyone had already ditched because it was just like, yeah, this turns out to be great for speed running. Absolutely awful for mutation soloing.
That's interesting. I didn't really think of it as...
For mutation soloing, people pretty quickly figured out that you just SimCity the heck out of the entire map, and that's how you win with mutation solos with Swan.
That's interesting.
I mean, sometimes you would use siege tanks, but it was only if you couldn't use buildings because the mutators just would not allow it.
All right, so going back. So Artanis goes down a tier without prestige, but otherwise he's B.
Yeah.
All right, there it is.
And he goes down with P1, to be honest, as well.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, they're just more expensive, and they don't really add tankiness.
It makes it a little harder to reach that critical mass, which just makes you that much slower to actually be able to do anything.
So P0, P1.
Literally, the mutators are just, once you reach a critical army size, the mutators don't matter anymore.
All right.
Before you reach that critical army size, they are a huge pain.
All right, for my editor, I'll take it slowly. So, Hierarch of the Daylon Prestige and Valorous Inspirator Prestige are both C tier, but Nexus Legate and Archer Commandant are B tier.
I would argue that they are top of C tier, though. It's not that bad, but it's definitely a downgrade from having the good stuff.
All right.
War pace and such.
All right.
I'd like to point out, with the whole Artanis thing, I got both bonuses with my Artanis run. It was that easy for me.